Yes, there's no surprises here now. I'm leaving Chicago. I'm moving, and a lot of thoughts have come along the way with moving. So we're going to cover a few things. Just me, you, and a camera. And clearly nothing around me. But we're going to cover the evolution of being a creator and my personal connection to that. Do you need to live in a major city now or whenever you're starting out, whatever stage you're at? And my biggest tips on actionable steps that you can take to make a career out of this thing and not feel like you're just being swept up by the creative world, because it can be really confusing. So I think starting out with the evolution of a creator, the thing that everybody starts out with is, hey, this is a hobby and this is fun to use a camera. You might have gotten dragged in it from a family member, a friend, something, but you found the initial interest. For me, I took an AP physics class and I walked in first day and I was like, there's no chance I am doing this. And funny enough, the only class I could take otherwise to get out of that class and get to the lower level physics class was a photography class. And now here we are. And pretty crazy. But I think we all start out with kind of this uncertainty of this is fun, but it's not a real job. Everybody always talks about a starving artist. I don't want to be a starving artist. And then you start to see people that have success. And you wonder if that's actually possible for you. So for me, I started to see, not original here, but the Sam Coulters, the Rory Kramers, and I was like, that's the coolest life of all time. I want to get paid to use a camera and travel all around the country, the world. And that's all I wanted, but it seems so out of reach at first. It feels like something that I could never do that. Who do I think I am, a kid from Pittsburgh, becoming a travel photographer influencer? I don't know if that's possible, but then you start to get better and your work's better, and maybe you go out of your way to meet some people, which is so beneficial. It's not even funny. I've talked about that a million times. And then you start to get inspired even more, and you get inspired more, and you're getting better, and then you get discouraged. And whenever you're discouraged, it's this weird blend of inspiration and being discouraged. You're seeing these creators put out this work and you're like, wow, that's really good. That makes me pumped on to go make something, but I could never in a million years make what they just made. So I don't know if I should do that. I don't know what I'm doing. Who do I think I am to go out there and make something like that? I have no idea where to even start. And for me, whenever I started to get inspired by all those different people, they all lived in Los Angeles. So I sat there and I was like, I need to live in LA. Maybe I'll be going to film school in Chicago, but I'm going to move to LA because I want to be a successful filmmaker, and that's the only way I can do it. We'll talk about that later. And the next step is, maybe along the way of all that and getting better, you start to get more work and you start to hopefully make some money and make a living off of it. And if you're really going all in, it is possible, and you're proving that to yourself. You're like, wow, if I put my foot down and I really dedicate myself towards this and invest in myself and buy the gear, well, then I can actually make this happen. But you also are seeing everybody across the country. And if you're from LA, this might be a totally different feeling, but I was seeing everybody on the other side of the country and being like, well, that seems essential, because when I listen to those people on podcasts or interviews, they all talk about how they're from a different place and they all came to LA and then their success went crazy. And so it's I don't have a choice. But then this step is where everything's kind of different for people. So you're making things happen. Maybe you find a couple of consistent clients and you're pumped that you're making some money with the camera. I personally got to a point where I was like, all right, love that I'm making money with the camera, but at the same time, maybe I'm not inspired by what I do. Maybe I'm ready for a change. And that's where you start to really go through some weird realizations where it's I am doing everything I wanted to. My personal experience, start making more money than I ever imagined. Traveling all the time, traveling to cool places, going out of the country and stuff. But you're like, something's not quite there. And then you realize, it's the work I'm doing. So do I want to go into a different world? Do I want to quit this job or cut off this client that's giving me so much work? It's a hard thing to go about. And it's not anything that, to my knowledge, will really get easier. It's a constant battle. You're always working towards trying to be better and do more and find the balance between life and work. And should I take all of this work that comes my way, or should I be more picky so I work on projects that I like? I'm still working with that, so that's where we'll pause it. But that's the experience that I think a lot of people go through. And now, with all that being said, do you need to live in a big city to be successful? I want to sit here and tell you, no, absolutely not. You don't have to live in a big city. You can live wherever you want. You can do it no matter where you are. And I think that is possible because, for example, the Under Armour work that I do, the agency that hires me is based out of Salisbury, Maryland. I've never heard of it before they came around, and still never been there. But they have a very, very large deal with Under Armour that is awesome. And they travel all around the country, and they're in this little city and fly out of there. And it's possible. It's definitely possible. But my opinion on it is that you can do that. But with myself living in Chicago for the past 6 years, I've seen that you can get more explosive growth if you're in a big city. My experience is Chicago. I know people that have experienced this in New York and LA. It's a weird thing in these big cities where you got two ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum, you have the people who are just on this explosive growth, and they get there, and next thing you know, they're on site for a Beyonce photo shoot, and then they meet somebody and they're working on a documentary, and then they're working on a feature film, and it's like, how do you do this? How does that even happen? But then you have the other people who kind of just get eaten alive. I mean, I was out in LA back in February, ton of great creators there, ton of great creators that I got to meet, which I'm very happy about. But you also see like a random person just walking around by themselves with an FX3 on Hollywood Boulevard, and it's like, well, I wonder how that person's doing. Are they doing as good as everybody expected to do in Los Angeles? So it's a hard thing. The big cities don't always allow you to get this explosive growth. But to give you an answer, do you have to live in a big city? No, but if you want to get cool opportunities very quickly, it'll help you at first, probably. But it's not going to help you if you don't take a couple steps to actually move in that direction. So let's talk about actionable steps that you can take to move in that direction and to actually become the creator, the creative that you want to become. Step number 1, you can't overlook this. If you try to avoid this, it's really not even possible. Get a good portfolio. You have to have good work, because at the end of the day, put yourself in the client's shoes. They are not going to hire you for a specific job if you can't prove that you can do that, let alone hire you for a $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 day rate. I don't know how you'll be able to convince anybody to pay you that much if you don't have proof that you can do it. So get a portfolio. If you want to be in sports, go to high school games, go to your family members' games, something. I actually got coffee with the guy Callan today. He hit me up on Instagram, and he was just in Chicago, so he got coffee, and he was telling me about how now he's shooting for like Notre Dame and Indiana, but he started out just shooting his brother's lacrosse game, I want to say it was. But like, that's how you start. You gotta get introduced to it in some sense, and then the things will go up from there. But you need to be good and have a portfolio. Step number 2, find the inspiration, but not only find the inspiration, learn and copy the creators. I'm not saying rip their video totally 100%, but one of the most popular styles of editing right now is like the sizzle editing with the heavy effects. And there's people that go to these colleges and work at these college programs that are just like the most talented people I've ever seen in my life. And if they do an effect, try and replicate it, even if it's not for anything. The way that I've become a good video editor is by seeing somebody do a hyperlapse. And I'm like, how do you do a hyperlapse? Then seeing somebody rotoscope and put something behind a person walking by. And it's like, how do you do that? And then you see both of those things and you combine them on top of like 3D tracking text and all these things that might not be practical right away and might be hard for you to learn. You then mesh all of these different effects that you've learned from these other creators to make your own style. You're not going to become a good editor that has a style without actually learning this stuff. So you're pumped about some kind of match cut concept, go outside and shoot the match cut concept. Maybe even if you have a job coming up, shoot it there. If they don't want a video, I bet you they won't be upset if you take a bunch of photos and then also get the match cut concept and send it to them. Even if it sucks, guess what? You gave them good photos. Maybe you don't send them the video, you at least tried, or you can just send it to them and maybe they'll be like, this guy's really good and he's hungry and he's over delivering. You're never gonna learn them without going out of your way to do so. And then number 3, actionable step. I'm just beating a dead horse at this point from my other videos if you guys have watched before, but meet other photographers. There's nothing that has helped me grow as much as meeting other photographers that are killing it in their own respect, and that is just gonna help you level up so much. Think about it. You're starting out, you meet somebody, that person becomes very successful and is blowing up. They bring you on for some things or give you jobs because they can't do that or the budget isn't as good, so you get those jobs. Then you become very good. Guess what? You're gonna get to a point that you can't take everything that comes your way. Not everything's paying your exact rate, so then you have somebody below you. You can help them out. And I'm not even saying take a cut off the top. I'm saying throw that person some work. You want to become that person that can be trusted. And I personally, when I recommend somebody, I look at it from the lens of like, I don't need to take 20% of that. But you know what I do think is that if a client hits me up and they say, hey, can you do this shoot on September 1st, and I'm already booked for September 1st, it's going to look a lot better for me to recommend somebody who I've already worked with and trusted instead of just saying no. And then if they go and crush it, it makes me look good, makes them look good. Everybody rises to the top. I hope this helps. I am moving to Denver. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. I'm pumped, I'm nervous, I'm excited all at the same time. It'll be definitely different. If you live in Denver, you're watching the channel, hit me up. I'm trying to make some friends out there. So, I guess we have a pretty small community right here. So, I don't know. I guess it's worth putting it out there. But yeah, moving to Denver, still a city. So, I'm not saying I'm moving to a small town, but I'm going to be like 20 minutes outside of Denver. I'm still going to be able to travel with Denver's airport being right there. And yeah, just entering this new chapter of life, and I'm pumped about it. Maybe the content will change a little bit. The space will definitely change. This will be the last video that you'll see in this space. Kind of sad. This place has gotten me a lot of cool things and cool opportunities, but I'm excited for the change. I'll talk to you guys about that maybe after it all happens and I'm settled in and how I'm feeling. I like these kind of videos when people just talk. So if you do too, let me know. Subscribe if you're not already. Sorry if there's a little bit of a lull of videos right now. I'm figuring my whole life out and balancing work and the move and road trips and travel and all that fun stuff. So I'll see you soon enough. I promise the videos will be back at a normal pace soon enough. And yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye from Chicago. And I'll see you in Denver. Let's do it.